Is it possible we are finally seeing a shift in the condo market? The numbers are in for Majestic Beach for April 2022. I'm Craig Duran with the Duran Group at Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices. And before I get into the numbers, I want to show you a few trends that we're watching that are pretty interesting. I'm getting a lot of good feedback about these videos. People like the information they see. If you know anybody that might find these beneficial, please share that with them. Encourage them to subscribe on the YouTube channel or just share the video with them. We're getting a lot of feedback that people appreciate the monthly update with what's happening in the market, especially with some of these changes we're seeing. So let's get into the numbers for just a second, or a theory first. Supply and demand. We all know if we have a ton of supply and not that much demand, that prices will be soft. If we have a ton of demand and not much supply, prices are going to move up. We know the last couple of years, we have had a ton of demand in the condo market and not much supply, not much inventory, and so prices have really been rapidly appreciating. Prices wouldn't flatten out or come down dramatically without noticing some adjustments in supply and demand. Obviously, if we have a ton of demand like we've been having and not much supply, and we started to see those things change, you can almost see what might happen with pricing. It's just fundamental economics. So let's look at some supply and demand numbers real quickly. There's some interesting things that have very quickly happened since the beginning of the year. So January, what you're looking at, some spreadsheets. We track a number of things week over week inside of the Duran Group in the condo market. This is just focus for a second on active, which is supply. This is the number of condos for sale, active units, supply. And this one, the number of new contracts. So this is the demand. How many contracts are being written? It's a good way for us to measure demand. And each week we're measuring that given week compared to the year prior. 2021 was already a very active, hot year in real estate. So keep that in mind as we're looking at these numbers. So from January of this year, just focus really on the red and green, make it real easy. January this year, we're down about 50% on supply. The condo store has 50% fewer condos available for a buyer to buy. Buyers are very motivated to buy. And there's way less choice than even last year, which was busy. There's still good demand in the market. Like I said, 36% more, 9% more, 16% more, still steady. February, though, look at the red and the green. We lost some demand. We still have about the same amount of supply. The condo store is about half full compared to the year before, but we're now down 17%, 10%, 17%, 24% down in demand. People are buying fewer condos in February than they did the year before. And look at March, very, very dramatic. The condo supply store now has gone from 40% down to 34, 27, 11% down now. Beginning of the month, we were about 50. We're about half full. We're now about 90% full. We've added a bunch of condos to the store. Buyers have more choices again. And look at this demand now. It's not just down 10 or 15 or 17%. It's down 47, 51, 49%. Buyers are writing less contracts on condos in March. And look at April now, the green again. 2%, 10%, 23%, 25% more condos available in the store than this time last year. We're having to expand space now because we have so many to buy, and demand is still waning a little bit. Now, remember, we're comparing this to a very active year in real estate. So we're like surface of the sun hot, maybe moving to atmosphere of the sun hot, I like to say. Let's look at that in our months of inventory number to see what that looks like. Remember, months of inventory in real estate represents the pace of a market, how hot or cold a market is. 4 or 5 months of inventory represents a neutral market. Theoretically, it would take us, theoretically in a neutral market, it would take 4 or 5 months to work through the whole process of putting something for sale, showings, negotiatings, closings. So when things are happening faster than that, it's a busier market, it's a seller's market, prices are moving up. Look at January 2022, 0.54, half a month of inventory. Extremely hot. Things are happening extremely quickly. We're closing units. Units are hitting the market and closing in 2 and 3 weeks. Fast forward to April, we've slowed down to 2.27 months of inventory. We're almost 5 times cooler than we were in January. Again, remember January, I don't think people really appreciated just how hot the market was in January. On its face, 2.27 months is still a very, very healthy seller's market. But we're back to some normalcy in real estate where now still a good seller's market is still a 60 or 75 day process to get something sold. If you look at, let's see what we've got here. If you look at Majestic specifically, sorry, it was zoomed out a little bit. January is here, 0.86, very similar to the market, but it stayed steady. It's probably one of the hotter condos. I've run about 9 of these this morning, and it's as hot as any building. Still very active and still less than 1 month of inventory. So still a very, very, very hot market in Majestic, hotter than the rest of the beach on average. Some recent sales. I haven't done specific sales for you for March and April. I know by now probably most of you have seen this stuff, but I'm going to buzz through it for you anyway. We had in March and April closing of an efficiency for $330,000. We had a 1-bedroom, 2-bath closed for $428,000. We had a couple of the smaller 2-bedrooms close at $449,000 and $500,000. We had a larger 2-bedroom sell at $530,000, another one sell at $550,000. A larger 2-bedroom sell at $565,000, smaller 2-bedroom sell at $580,000, 3-bedroom, 2-bath sell at $605,000, another 2-bedroom sell at $615,000, another 3-bedroom at $640,000, another 3-bedroom at $640,000, and the 4-bedroom over there on $202,000 sold for $850,000. Now, a couple of things. I want to talk to potential sellers for just a second. If you're thinking about selling this year, look at what happened last year in the summertime. This red line, again, is our supply, units for sale. April, May, June, July, August. We added a lot of supply in the summer months, about 3 times. We increased by about 3x. Think about why for a second. It's not rocket science. Buyers want to buy. It's nice out. It's beach season. They're down at the beach. They want to look at units. Most of these units are rented or owners are using them. So a real estate professional can't get in and schedule showing appointments to show a buyer what they may want to buy. There's demand there, but it doesn't get realized. We just aren't writing as many contracts. So buyers wait. And they said, well, we'll come back in August and September when it's easier to see things. So we still have supply kind of move up almost in direct correlation to just the demand of not being able to write contracts. Come August or September, think about that buyer that time of year. Buyer still wants to buy a condo, but is probably a little more patient, a little less motivated than they were March, April when we're coming out of winter. Ooh, the sun's coming out. It's beach season. The end of beach season. Yeah, I still want to buy a condo. I still am going to buy a condo, but I can be a little more patient. I'm not going to use it right away. The heavy rentals revenue isn't happening right away. And this year, what potentially could happen, we've already added inventory, supply. We're 5 times more supply than we had. And if the trend continues like last year, when we add more supply, 2 or 3 times more supply, we could very well be in neutral market, buyer market-ish territory come end of the season, not even the end of the year. Calypso today is at 5.5 months of inventory. So if you're thinking about selling, think about a couple things. If you can, start the process sooner rather than later. You already have more competition today than you did 60 days ago. If that trend continues, you're going to have more competition come August or September. Also, it's taking us a little longer to sell a condo than it was a few months ago. So if you are going to wait for the season, if you are looking to use it or realize some of the revenue, think about starting the process late June, early July, rather than closer to Labor Day. A few reasons. It's going to take me as a real estate professional or whoever you call. It's going to take time to shoot videos and photos. We're going to have to figure out when the unit's available, when it's clean, when the photographer can get in there, and it has to be a nice day. Sometimes those don't always add up, and we miss a day, and now there's another week-long rental, and then we miss a day because of weather, and then so start thinking about this in late June. It takes time to get all that stuff done. It takes time to coordinate, build websites, and those kinds of things. Also, if it's taking us 60 or 75 days to work through the whole closing process as of now, and that may drift up some more through the summertime, then if you're going to the market early July, middle of July, you're already getting, by the time you close, you'll be at the end of rental season anyway. And you're probably working with a more motivated buyer earlier in the season than you are later in the season. So just a couple ideas from a pricing standpoint, from a buyer motivation standpoint, if you're thinking about selling in this season. I know that's a lot. I hadn't dug into the Majestic market in about 60 days, so wanted to give you a lot of information very quickly. 10 minutes, 25 seconds now. So if you're still watching, thanks for watching. Please share this with anyone you might know that might benefit from it. Again, I'm Craig Duran with the Duran Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Thank you very much for watching.